Hello and welcome to the Dutching channel. It's Thursday the 9th of May 2024, 3 minutes past 8 in the morning, and we're going to do these selections from Chester. That's our first meeting we're going to look into this morning. I hope you followed us in yesterday with only 4 bets, 3 of those won. So it was another good day yesterday, and today we've got plenty of bets. So we're just going to start going through the card at Chester, looking for non-runners. It's a bit early in the morning for that, but there's a couple. In the 235, Nelly Laylax and Brunel Nation are both non-runners. And that's it. That's it on the non-runner front. So let's have a look into our spreadsheet today. And you can see there we've got 14 bets. At Chester we've got 6. And then at Brighton, we've got 5. And at Chelmsford, we've got 3. So we're going to kick off with the Chester card. Going to use the Matchbook Exchange and give you an idea of what we're going to be betting on this afternoon. So our first selection in the 130 is going to be Radio Gugu. Right, let's start with Radio Gugu then. And the price of this one currently is 13. So stakes of £7.69 would return us £100. And Change of Mind is our second selection. This is currently 28. Stakes of £3.57 would return us £100. And Copper Night is our third selection. This is currently 17.5. Stakes of £5.71 would return us £100. And Manila Scouse is our fourth selection. Manila Scouse, that one at the moment is 6.8. Stakes of £14.71 would return us £100. And our fifth selection is She's Sentimental. And She's Sentimental, that's the outsider, that is 65. Stakes of £1.54 would return us £100. And Clearpoint is going to be our sixth selection. And Clearpoint is 9.8. Stakes there of £10.20 would return us £100. And let's see what we've got at the moment. Well, we've laid out 43.43, so that leaves us £6.57. And our next selection, our seventh selection there, is going to be Vintage Clarets. And Vintage Clarets, that is currently at 11.5. So let's just have a look back at what we had left there was £6.57. That's going to be our maximum bet on Vintage Clarets. So into the 130 then. We've got 6 running for us here. Radio Gugu, Change of Mind, Copper Night, Manila Scouse, She's Sentimental, and Clearpoint. One of those 6 would return us £100, and Vintage Clarets would be the lower amount. And when we do a recap on the meeting, we'll go through the lesser amount ones and tell you how much money got to come back on those. Into our second race of betting is the 235, and our top selection here is Grey Cuban. So into the 235, they're the 2 non-runners we've done earlier. Grey Cuban, second in at the moment, and this is 5.5. Stakes of £18.18 would return us £100. And our second selection is Celtic Warrior. And Celtic Warrior, this is 7.6. So stakes of £13.16 would return us £100. And our third selection is a Gunfighter. Gunfighter, that one's currently 50, so stakes of £2 would return us £100. And our fourth selection is Dashing Darcy. Dashing Darcy, this one is currently 8.8, and stakes there of £11.36 would return us £100. That leaves us £5.30, and we know, because I saw it on the way, Never So Brave is the favourite and odds on at 1.93. So that is the maximum amount we can have on Never So Brave is 5.30. So into the 2.35 at Chester, we got 4 running for us: Grey Cuban, Celtic Warrior, Gunfighter and Dashing Darcy. One of those 4 would return us £100, and Never So Brave would be the lesser amount. Into our third betting race, this is the 3.05 at Chester. And into the 3.05, our top selection here is God's Window, and God's Window is currently the favourite at 3.35. So stakes of £29.85 would return us £100. And our second selection is JRB. JRB closing in there, it's joint favourite at 3.4. And the maximum we can have on this is £20.15. That brings it up to our stakes of £50. So the 3.05 at Chester, we got 1 running for us, God's Window, to return £100, and JRB would be the lesser amount. Then moving into the 3.40 at Chester. Our top selection here is Arrest, and Arrest is currently second favourite at 4. So stakes of £25 would return us £100, and Point Lonsdale is our second in, and this is currently 2.9, and stakes there maximum would be £25 to bring our stakes up to 50. So the Chester 3.40, we got 1 running for us, that's Arrest, which will return £100, and Point Lonsdale would be the lower amount. Moving in now to the 4.10 at Chester, our top selection here would be Al Zarakan. And Al Zarakan is currently 95, so a brilliant price there. Stakes of £1.05 would return us £100. And our second selection is Dream Harder. And Dream Harder, that is 8.4. And stakes of £11.90 would return us £100. Tony Montana is our third selection. And Tony Montana, that's currently 12.5. So stakes of £8 would return us £100. Al Rufar. Al Rufar, that one's currently at 14. So stakes of £7.14 would return us £100. And our fifth selection would be Crystal Mariner. Crystal Mariner, this one at the moment is 6, and stakes of £16.67 would return us £100. We've laid out £44.77, so we have £5.23 left to spend. And our next selection is Barry Shin. Let's start this again. Baryshnikov. The amount of times I get that one wrong. And that one at the moment is currently 10.5. So we'll go back to what we staked. We had £5.23 left, and that will be the maximum stake for that selection. So into the 410, we've got 5 running for us: Al Zarakan, Dream Harder, Tony Montana, El Rufar, and Crystal Mariner. One of those 5 would return £100, and the lower amount would be on Baryshnikov. Then into the 4:45 at Chester. This is our last betting race. This is our 6th, and Filibusterin is going to be our number 1 selection here. And Filibusterin is currently at 9. Stakes of £11.11 would return us £100, and It's Not Risky is our 2nd selection. This one is currently 12.5, but I think you can see, looking at the top of this race, that it is 202. The over round is double what it should be. So there's either going to be a non-runner there, or there is no liquidity in that race whatsoever. So I think we're going to leave that race alone. Let's just update that. Sometimes I think it's the time that we do these kind of things, you know. But it has now, although it's changed race, so that's no good. So now it's come down to 157, but the over round is too high, so we're going to have to leave that race alone, I think. Yeah, I mean, look, we've got a favourite in this at 5-4. We've got another one at 9-4, another one at 4-1. These are just too short. See if anything has now changed on that. Yeah, I think it's just maybe too early in the morning. Now we've got another one that's gone odds on. No, we can't do anything in that race. So we will have a recap and then have a look after we've done the recap. Right, going back to the 130, we got 6 running for us. We've got Radio Goo, Change of Mind, Copper Knight, Manila Scouse, She's Sentimental, and Clearpoint. One of those 6 will return us £100. And then our last selection, Vintage Clarets, that will have the odd £6.57 on that one that's left. We'll times that by 11.5 on the price, and if Vintage Clarets wins, we get 75.55. So there still would be a profit on that one. And then into the 235, we got 4 running for us: Grey Cuban, Celtic Warrior, Gunfighter, and Dashing Darcy. And then the odd money of £5.30 went on Never So Brave at 1.93. So returns of £10.22 if Never So Brave was the win, which would be a £40 loss, but we do have 4 others running for us. And then in the 305, we got 1 running for us here, God's Window, to return £100. And JRB, we had the odd £20.15 on this one, times the price of 3.4. That would return us £68.51, so there would be an £18 profit in the 2nd selection. Then into the 340, we've got 1 running for us here, which is Arrest to return £100. And then for our second selection, we've only got £25 at 2.9 on Point Lonsdale, and that would return us 72.50. So there would be a 22.50 profit if that second selection was to win. Then into the 410, we got 5 running for us: Al Zarakan, Dream Harder, Tony Montana, Al Rufar, and Crystal Mariner. One of those 5 would return us £100. And then the rest of the money, which was £5.23, we put this on Barry Schnickov at 10.5 on the price, and that would return us £54.91. So there would be money back there, and we would still have 5 running for us. And in the 445, I'll have one more look on this race. And now it's 159 over round. I'll just update it once more. And again, yeah, it's too high to even put any kind of prices on. But you'll see there that filibustering at the moment, this one is 9. It's not risky. This one is 12.5. User Amistoro. This one is 8.4. And Arch Legend, well, that's the favourite at 2.28. But don't read into too much of those prices that you see there. So that's the best we can do at Chester, leaving out the last race there. So good luck with whatever you're betting at Chester today, and thanks for watching.